So, good morning everyone. We are back once again for um, this weekend of racing at the TNF1. We're here at Mexico for round 18 of the 21 of the championship in season 4. News today, Albert can wrap up this championship if he scores, or if he outscores Owen, then he wraps it up, and if Owen wins, then he needs to score, he needs to finish P3 or P4 to wrap up the championship. Actually, I was going to say Owen wasn't here, but he is here. 11 drivers as we had, around as we had. Oh, actually, we didn't have 11 drivers last weekend. So 11 drivers this weekend, once again. Still haven't had a full turnout this whole season yet, which is a little bit disappointing. We had a very good turnout for F1 last weekend. We had 17 drivers in the race, 14 drivers who turned up through qualifying, 17 drivers in the race, so very good turn of events there in that front. So drivers coming out on track now. P-Dog Peyton, I'm just going to call him Peyton. So he joined a few weeks ago, but he hasn't raced yet. So it's his first weekend racing. So he's only going to be in the racing point. So he's going to be in the number 12 racing point. So he is first weekend this weekend. And we've also got Jack Price in the Red Bull alongside Matthew in the other Red Bull. So this is his first weekend as well, racing at Mexico as he comes out in the hard compound tyre. So first man who's going to settle lap time is going to be Peyton, who is on the hard compound tyre. So the strategy around here is softs to hards, pretty sure. Jack's already retired from the session, so I wonder what's happened there with the Red Bull driver. But as we look to see the racing points coming up to start this first flying lap of the session, we'll do an onboard lap with him. So we go around the final corner now. So this is the main straight of the track, very long straight. I think it's one of the longest on the F1 calendar. The first DRS straight of the track, running down into turn 1. You want to be getting on the left side curb, but he hasn't done that to really use full amount of track going into turn 1. Ones through the turn 2 and 3 as well. The second DRS straight of the track coming down here, starting sector 2 now. Probably the most difficult sequence of corners on the circuit, because if you do run wide there you can invalidate this double apexed right hander, and then you're coming up to the F section in the middle sector. That's probably the quickest part of the track. So you go left, you go left, and then you go right, and then a left, and then a right, and then the left. And if you get those sequence of corners correct, then it can really be a do or die for a lap if you screw those up or you get those perfected. So the last sector now, the stadium section, one of the most iconic sectors on the F1 calendar, coming through the stadium underneath the grandstands, and we come across the line now. He's done invalidated, so he's going to start another flying lap on those hard compound tyres. But Albert is coming around in the final corner now, so he's on the medium compound tyre. Two Mercedes here this weekend. They got a 1-2 last weekend at Suzuka. His teammate has a 14.8, so he opens up the time sheets with a very good competitive time actually. I think they might be getting each other some tow, yeah, so they're giving each other some tow. One on the mediums, one on the softs. And he cuts the track, which we do not allow here, so I think there might be some investigation into that. He gets us some more slipstream on the second DRS straight. And then now we're coming through the middle sector with this double Apex, the right-hander, as I said before. So yeah, the outdoor strategy is softs to hards. It's not really too difficult to do softs to hards at all. So you do want to be qualifying up at the front. I think quality time, I reckon the quality time will be this weekend around a 1:14.5 for the F2. My prediction at least. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have to wait and see. Coming through the stadium section now, Albert is going to round the final corner. And what will this lap be? It's going to be a 16.2 on the medium compound tyre. So his teammate pits. Merrill's on a flying lap on the hards. Sorry for the sniffles. As he's coming through the middle sector now. Still doesn't currently have a teammate in the McLaren. So after Robin left, I think it was at Hungary his last race was. He hasn't had a teammate since then, or hasn't had a teammate race yet, so big loss for McLaren and the constructors. But anyway, he's going to come and set a time on the hard compound tyre. It's going to be a 17.6, so around 1.4 seconds behind Albert on the mediums. There was a yellow flag sector 3, but Owen Bennett's now out on the track. So yeah, it's going to be a title showdown between these two this weekend. If Albert finishes ahead of Owen, or he needs to outscore him by how many points? Let me just check how many points that these two guys are on, and then I'll calculate where he needs to finish. Championship standings. So Owen is 92 points behind, and if he wants to keep this championship alive, he needs to be within 78 points going into the USA next weekend. So unable to do that, he needs to outscore Albert by 14 points to keep his championship hopes alive. To go into the USA. So Owen's actually on an out lap. Oh no, he's on a flying lap. So if Owen wins, Albert needs to finish third if he wants to wrap up his championship. If Albert finishes 4th, we go on to we go on to USA for the championship battle there. So it's really give everything or lose everything for Owen at the moment. As Owen goes P3 with a 15.4, so Albert's teammate looking quite nice here with the sub 14 here at the moment. So that puts him up into P3. Melbourne is in P4 with a 15.5. So exactly a 10th behind Owen. He sets P4. Albert out in that lap now, and he's chucked on the softs, so expect him to go a bit quicker, and they're doing some slipstreaming now. The two Mercedes, it's not the first time we've seen them doing some slipstream this season. Ethan giving Albert some slipstream down the main straight. This will definitely gain him a couple tenths in his lap time, as Ethan will pull out to the right hand side, brake just before the braking zone. I'm not too fond of this corner cutting to get slipstream in. I think I'll have to report that to the stewards because that's not really allowed here. That was made a rule at the end of season 2. Oh no, that was made a rule at the end of season 2. to not cut corners and able to gain time during qualifying. But anyway, we'll forget about that for later. Anyway, Albert coming through the middle sector now. We'll have to see what he runs incredibly wide. That surely will be invalidated, but we'll have to wait and see what his middle sector slip will be. He's 1.4 seconds up on his lap time. So this will be around 14.4 if he gets it done, but he will gain time on this last sector. I mean 14.8, sorry. Yeah, he has backed out of it, so he's going to give his teammates some slipstream now. So good teamwork here from the Mercedes guys, the Mercedes teammates. Let's go on board with Ethan now to see what he's going to be doing. I'm not really a fan of this at all, to be honest, but we'll see what the stewards have to say about it. We'll have to wait and see if he's up on his lap. As he comes to this S section now. Sort of like Suzuka, but not on an altitude climb. But with no altitude. He's nearly 3/10 up on his lap time, coming into the last sector now. So this could be a 14.5, 14.4 if he gets the lap done. So as he comes across the line, he actually backs out of it. So interesting there from the Mercedes driver. Would have been an easy improvement there from him, but decides to back out of it. Only two men out on track now is Matthew and Amirul. Amirul's actually on an Amirul's on an outlap. Matthew's on an outlap. On the mediums, running an Italian helmet. Much similar to what I ran in Monza. But we'll have to wait for everyone else to come out, because they'll come out late in the session. If it's any driver in the YouTube stream, please let me know if there's any wet weather conditions in the race, and if there is, that'd be quite helpful to know that. But anyway, Amirul's coming through the final sector now to start his final flying lap of the session. Oh, did Owen disconnect somewhere because he's rejoined the session, so he must have disconnected at some point. But Amirul starts his last flying lap of the session. Coming down the long DRS straight. If this was simulated to real condition or real car performance, the altitude, as you saw in the real life F1, the altitude really hindered Mercedes especially, Mercedes and Ferrari Australian speed, actually especially Mercedes, so it really hindered their Australian speed with the altitude. As I said that, he's got a YouTube comment, so I'm going to check that. Hopefully it's with a report. Oh shit. Why would Brett allow you to do that? That makes no sense. Anyway, Amirul comes through the final sector now. And what will this lap time be on this medium compound tyre? It's going to be 17.0, so it doesn't put him ahead of Matthew at all. Stays 9th fastest. Yeah, but the thing is that we made a rule that, and he's taking it with the braking boards, okay. There was a rule that, you're not allowed to cut time during qualifying at all, so... Or cut the track during qualifying. And if you're not aware of that rule, then you do know now. So slipstream me again down the main straight. Anyway, so I was getting distracted. Ethan Lossing on a flying lap now. Actually, no, that's Albert's on a flying lap, so we'll go with Albert. He's taking these S sections quite nicely as well. You want to be on the power as much as you can for this section. You want minimal lifting off through there. He's 1.2 seconds up, so this will put him around. This will put him in P2 at the moment. But will this be enough for provisional pole? Yes, 14.4 from Albert, so that puts him on provisional pole position. Now he's having his teammates in tow. Now let's see this corner cutting, shall we? There we go. So Ethan now is coming up to the last sector on the circuit. Owen's retired, so he's going to start P3 on the grid. He actually improved as well. Ethan goes fastest with a 14.4, so that puts him on pole position. Who else is on that? Melvin started a flying lap, 4.5 tenths. Oh, he went 4.5 tenths quicker. Oh no, he's doing another fly lap. Yeah, so he's coming down in the second DRS straight now. He's 7/100ths of a second down on his time. So not going too well here for the Toro Rosso driver so far in his flight on his lap. I think Terry's on a flying lap as well. So we'll go back to Melvin, who's coming up to the final sector. He's just up by 3/100ths of a second. So at the moment, this will jump him ahead of Ludwig. If he nails this last sector, he maybe could jump ahead of Owen. He doesn't improve on his lap, so he's lost a whole bunch of time in that final sector. But we'll go to Terry now, who's on his flying lap, coming through the middle sector, and he's just a tenth up on his time. So this could maybe put him ahead of Peyton, who sits P6. So a short dash to the finish line now, and he doesn't get it done. So he's going to start P7. So it's a Mercedes one front row lockout. So that is your grid for the Mexican Grand Prix. The top 7 starting on softs, 8, 9 and 10 starting on mediums. So, and then Jack, who said no tyre in qualifying, could get a free set of tyre if he wants. I need to put on the headset. There we go. So, looks like it is a fine race. Sunny, like it was in qualifying. As we'll wait for everyone to ready up, and we'll go through a formation lap. It can actually be quite a deficit to be on pole position here, because the run up to turn 1 is so long. People on who sets P2 and P3 can get your slipstream and actually overtake you just before the braking zone, so it can actually be a disadvantage starting on pole. So if I was in Albert's position, I wouldn't be too unhappy. We'll chuck on all this now. Now we'll actually. Hello. Anyway, we're going to start from the grid on pole position in the Mercedes. A good time from him, a 14.4 from Ethan. He starts pole position in the Mercedes. P2, Albert Ramirez Garcia makes it a Mercedes 1-2 front row lockout. And he starts ahead of his championship rival Owen Ben, who sets P3 in the Williams. P4 we have Ludwig in the Renault. P5 Melbourne Stabaka in the Toro Rosso. P6 you got Peyton in the Racing Point. P7 you got Terry in the Spoiler in the Red in the McLaren. P10 we've got Jan in the Haas, and then P11 who rounds off the grid is Jack Price in the other Red Bull, who's starting on the medium compound tyre. So top 7 starting on softs, and then position 8 to 10, 11 is going to start on medium. So interesting to see what the difference between the mediums and the softs will be at the start. Anyway, we round through the final sector now to finish this formation lap, and we'll be getting underway racing as soon as we can. But by now the AI would have been taking over these guys' car by now. So this can be the championship deciding round for Albert. So wait for the 5 red lights as they build the revs for the Mexican Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Good start there from Ludwig at the start P4. Ethan has to go and cover off his teammate who's getting his slipstream down into turn 1, going nearly full wide into turn 1. Ethan still stays ahead going into the braking zone, runs a little bit deep into turn 1. His teammate's trying to look for a move there. Owen's getting him. Oh, there's a bit of bushing and barging there at the back. Albert has been hit and he's got wing damage. Owen has been let through, and that has him up into a prime position. But I think he had some in-plate damage on his Williams. Yeah, he's got some in-plate damage on his Williams, so not a good start there from him. A good start there from Ethan, and this will really help him trying to break away from the rest of the field. Albert with some massive wing damage could really hinder his chances of winning the championship this weekend. So you can see massive wing damage there on the Mercedes. Jack Price, very good stuff from him. He's made up 4 places at the start. He's up into P7, trying to look for a move there on his teammate in P6. The 2 Renaults sit P4 and P5. Melvin has had a very good start, who sits P3 at the moment. Maybe expect Owen to pit for some a wing change. Yeah, so Owen's going to pit for a wing change. And this has really helped Ethan get away from the rest of the field. 3.7 seconds now, so he's got a 3.7 second gap by the end of lap 1, and that has really helped him. And if he wants to get this race win this weekend, Albert pits, Payton pits for a new front wing. So don't put Albert out of this fight now. You only need to score, or Owen only needs to score him outscore him by 14 points. So at the moment, it's still looking good here for the Mercedes driver. So at the moment, he's still in the chance to win the championship. Payton comes out the pits. But top 4 only people on softs now. Jack Price made a way around his teammate for P5. It's a very good start there from the Red Bull driver. First on debut this weekend. He's definitely showing his pace at the moment. 1.5 seconds behind Terry, who is trailing his teammate Ludwig, who sets P3, and he's harassing Melvin here for 2nd position. But remember, DRS, actually it is lap 3, so DRS will be enabled this lap. Actually no, DRS will be enabled next lap, since it is lap 3 now. So DRS won't be available to the next lap for Ludwig. And then he will look to try and make a move here on Melvin for P2. Ethan, very good start from him. That carnage at the start really helped him get away from the rest of the field. So he leads the rest of the field by 3.7 seconds. So good start from him. Jan and Amiril having a battle here for P7. Jan gets the position back from Amiril. But both on the medium compound tyre, so even tyre strategy from these two. Amiril really hassling the Haas driver. He's trying to find a way past, but not through this middle sector at all. You can really make an overtake. Really through the first sector, you can really make an overtake. Or a clean overtake. But anyway, coming through the stadium section now, we'll have to wait and see if Amiril can get in with DRS. Pretty sure he will be able to get in with DRS. Terry sets the fastest lap of the race with a 19.0, sorry. It'll be an amazing final lap. It was a 13 in the start of the race. But anyway, Amiril will have DRS down the main straight. He's closing on Terry. He just pulls out to the left-hand side. Terry defends the position. And he gets the move done on Amiril. So that's Amiril up into P7. Roughly around 3 seconds behind the 2 Red Bulls. Albert is fastest lap of the race on the hard compound tyre. So he is 4.3 seconds behind his championship rival Owen, who sets P9. So still in the championship fight here is Albert. Owen's actually pitted for the medium compound, so he'll need to be making another stop in the race. Albert can maybe stretch these hard compound tyres to the end of the race. If he conserves his tyres, then he could maybe stretch these out to the end. But it'll be a really touch and go strategy and bold move for the Mercedes driver. Terry has made a way past his teammate Ludwig in P4. The Renault will have DRS on Melvin. Bit of lag there from his end, but will he be close enough to make a move down into turn 1? They're side by side. He's going to try and break the ladder, try to go on the outside into turn 1, through turn 2, still side by side. Melvin edges ahead into turn 3, and Melvin keeps the position. But he will have DRS again coming down into turn 4. but it just isn't close enough to make a move. It's a good defending there from Melvin. And this battling is just letting Ethan get further and further out in the lead. I see Jan and Emerald still tossing for position here. Down in P7 and P8. Terry gets a 3-second time penalty. It's the first people of the soft run to get a penalty. So these two Renaults look like they just have the upper edge of pace compared to Melbourne, who's in the Toro Rosso. Matthew's actually disconnected from the session, and that will surely let Emerald have a good chance of getting past him. So unfortunately there from the Red Bull driver. But anyway, we'll have to look and see if Terry can try and make a move here on Melbourne. Coming down to turn 1, the long DRS straight. He's closing very rapidly on Melbourne. He's trying to pull out to the right outside. But doesn't get the move done. You see now DRS again. Down the second DRS straight. Pulls to the right hand side this time. Tries to go on the outside. Into turn 4. Oh, he's been spun by Melvin. And that is him around and into the fence. He's got wing damage. And that is very unfortunate there from the Renault. So there was contact while he was trying to make the move. He swept around the outside, but looks like he maybe thought that he was clear of Melvin and then went across the left cover of the position. But Melbourne was still there and just hit his rear tyre, but unfortunate there for him. But we'll have to wait and see if Ludwig can do something now to try and make a move on Melvin coming down this main DRS straight. Does he even have enough straight line speed to on the Toro Rosso, but don't think he'll be quite close enough to make a move. It's 4.9 seconds now, so nearly 5 seconds of gap between the lead of the race and P2. And Merrill's made it past Matthew. Oh, and there's contact between the two. But unfortunately, there's no spin, which is very good to see. But this could set Jan up to make a move, but no, he hasn't. Oh, he's done a switchback move as Jan. He's pulled out to the right, pulled out to the left at the last minute, dived down the inside. He's got the move done. Oh, he's been spun as well. So carnage here in the midfield. So there's been contact between the two, Red Bull and the Haas driver. I'd have to say that it looks like it was Matthew's fault in that instance. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't paying full attention to the incident. But very unfortunate there from two drivers there, Matthew and Jan. So they'll maybe pit for a new front wing. Ethan blinks first for the Many compound tyre. So that'll be a tyre to the end of the race. So he will be going to the end of the race on that medium compound tyre. So he comes out just ahead of Merrill. So Merrill yet to pit. So it's actually quite early for the softs, to be honest. Oh, there's actually a safety car. What am I doing here? I'm not paying attention. So there's a safety car, ladies and gentlemen, at the Mexican Grand Prix. So there was quite a bit of debris, or debris, as we like to say. There's quite a lot of debris around the track from all those incidents that we saw. Actually, I don't think this will be a tyre change to the end of the race. No, I don't think he will be able to pull those to the end. So I was mistaken there. So safety car. This will really help Albert in his chances of getting out back at the front. He's actually in the back here of Yarn now. So Owen's actually made up a few places. He's actually pitted for soft compound tyres to try and stretch out his legs. Albert had pitted for mediums, so he's on fresh mediums now. So Owen is 3 positions ahead of Albert at the moment. It's still good for a championship contention at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see what will turn out at the end of the race. So P10 to P7 is 5-point difference. So still in the position to win the championship is Albert. So if Owen wants to win this championship, Albert can stay P10 and Owen can finish P3, which is 15 points to his name, but taking that 1 point off, actually no, taking that 1 point off, it will still keep him in the chance to win the championship. So if this stays here at the moment, but I'm pretty sure it won't, because the safety car has come in and we're racing again. The grid is back and we've got some good competitive racing. Looks like there's a scrap developing here in the midfield. Owen pulls out to the right hand side to try and make a move down the inside. There's actually a few battle groups trying to make moves there, down to turn 1. Owen gets a good exit out of turn 3, and he's going to get the run down into turn 4. He's made up 3 positions on the restart, and he's going to try going the inside of a Merrill. Albert's making up positions at the back, but he's going side by side with a Merrill through this middle sector now. There's a bit of a push and a barge in there. There's some contact, but I don't think there's massive damage there for the Williams driver. But he's dropped a couple positions, and now he's put Albert right behind him. So some tossing there for Ludwig and Jack going wheel to wheel, coming through this middle or this last sector now. There's a lot of pushing and barging between the midfield. So, of course, DRS won't be enabled for another couple of laps because of the safety car. Owen pulls that to the right-hand side to try and make a move here on Ludwig. Coming down to turn 1, he's already passed by the braking zone, so that's position there for Owen. Albert might be looking for a move here on Ludwig, coming down into turn 4, and he's got a very good exit out of turn 3. And he's pulled out to the right hand side, and you don't think he's going to fight that too hard. Actually no, Ludwig's trying to draw on the inside on Albert, but Albert gets the move done. So that is position up there for Albert. He defends the inside for the next right hander. Ludwig tries to go on the outside, but it looks too difficult for him, and he gets the position there, Albert. So that's him up into P6, around half a second behind his championship rival Owen, who sits P5. Hey, looking for a move on a Merrill. Fresh softs for the Williams driver, definitely helping him with his pace, but not at the moment because he is getting held up by a whole bunch of cars. He's trying to go around the inside all through the same section. He's made a bit of a mistake, a bit of contact there, and that has let Albert get past him. That has let Ludwig get past him. And that is not good for the Williams driver, and he's looking for a move here on Ludwig. Drag race down to turn 1. He gets the move done. Looks like he's packing quite a bit of straight line speed on that Williams. So that has got the position back. He runs a bit deep into turn 1. Oh, he's hitting with a Merle. There's a bit of contact, and he gets the move done. It looked like he just ran a bit deep into the turn 1, and then he's like, oh well, since I'm this deep, I might as well try going the inside of a Merle. And saying that, he's got the move done. Jack gets a 3-second time penalty. Speaking of Jack, he's up into P3, so a good start, a good restart there from the Red Bull driver. Ethan's got a 1.4 second gap over the rest of the field from Melvin. So the pressure that Melvin was facing earlier on in the race has eased off. There's yellow flag in sector 2. Where's that yellow flag? Oh, Peyton looks like he may have had it off somewhere. But Albert is still in good position here to win this championship. He's ahead of his rival, and he'll be hunting down Jack Price now for the final podium position. Albert does fastest lap of the race with an 18.6. But the pace advantage will go to Owen because he is on the soft compound tyre. Heading around 315 kilometers an hour down the main DRS straight. We'll have to wait and see the straight. Well, let's see the straight on speed between these two. So you get to around 300 before braking. Yeah, so roughly around the same. Whoops. Around the same straight on speed these two have. But you can see Albert now chopping down that gap to Jack, who sits P3, 3 seconds behind Melvin, and then Melvin's 1.3 seconds behind Albert. So Melvin looks like he's having a good race here so far. He's got some decent pace in that Toro Rosso. So we've got 23 laps here of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez to go. I made that 22. Albert does fastest lap of the race again. So at the moment these softs aren't really helping Owen whatsoever. Matthew is reconnected and is joined back to the session, but he's already all the way down in P10. So Albert getting close here to the Red Bull now. He will have DRS on the next straight. Or he'll be close enough to make a move down to turn 1. We'll have to wait and see. He's looking for a move. You see he's definitely itching to get past him. So Albert now will have DRS down the main straight. The leader box at the back of the car opens up. He pulls to the right hand side very early actually, and he gets the move done already. He's very far right. He gets the move done before the braking zone, and that is Albert up into P3. But what can Owen do? Can he respond to this from Albert? This pace from Albert, or is he just a sitting duck at the moment? Because he isn't finding too much pace on these mediums. Jack Price big lock up here there from him into turn 4. It's nice to know that some people in F2 are not running ABS. Albert, I know Owen doesn't run any assisted racing line. So that's a good move there from the Mercedes driver. There's a battle developing here for P6 between Peyton, Jan and Terry. So there's a three-way battle here for P6. And then we'll be closing because the DRS will be effective for the Haas and the Racing Point. Albert does another fast lap of the race with the 18.3. But he will need to make those tyres last to the end if he wants to... Actually, no. He does need to pit again because I don't think those mediums will make it to the end, to be honest. Payton moves out to the left-hand side. And he gets the move done. You can see Jan has just got no ERS to defend the position. So that is another P7. What can he do to Terry though? Because Terry out in the P6. Now he's gained a bit of time on the two behind. Gap's around to now second now. But this is the only real battle we've got at the moment. So we'll stay on board with this battle. Doesn't look like Jan is getting his lines quite right, and that's why he's falling off the pace quite a bit. But Albert gets a 3-second time penalty. Oh, Jan has dropped it out of the S section, and he's retired from the session. So we'll go on board with Ludwig here to see where he's done it. I'm pretty sure it was on the second part of the S's. Oh yeah, so he's just dropped it out of the middle part of the S's, and he's put it in the wall. I'm wondering, will there be a VSC for this? I don't think there will be a VSC. But anyway, that's really unfortunate there from the Haas driver. He wasn't really having a very overly good race anyway. But Peyton now 1.1 seconds behind Terry. He's actually pulling out gaps here on Peyton down the main DRS straight. So that shows that he does have a bit more straight on speed. Melbourne gets a 3-second time penalty. He's only 2.1 behind Ethan, so he's doing a very good job there, the Toro Rosso driver. He's showing a good amount of pace here this weekend. And he could be up for a good podium position here if he keeps it consistent and clean. But Peyton now closing the gap here on Terry. He's pulled another few tenths on him. Around 4 tenths he's pulled in just through that middle, just through this middle sector alone. It looks like Terry's a lot more confident through this X section because he has put out another few tenths on Peyton. But will Peyton be close enough for DRS down the main straight? If he does, then this could really set him up for a good opportunity to make a move. 9 tenths now, but I don't think he was within that second yeah, he wasn't within the detection point within the second. Owen's actually on the back here of Jack. So I don't know where this battle's developed, but we've got a battle here for P4. Owen has DRS and gets very close there to Jack. Oh, he gives him a bit of a bump, bit of contact there from a 2, running a bit deep on the brakes there, Owen. But he's going to side by side through this middle sector, and that's the move done there from Owen. So that's Owen up into P4. It's a good move there from the Williams driver. But Peyton's actually within the second now. But is he going to be within the second by the time the detection point is there? I'm pretty sure he is. So Peyton a second out now. But was he within that second with the detection zone? We'll have to see. No, he wasn't within the wasn't within the second with the detection. Fuck me, he wasn't within the second within the detection zone. I'm trying to spit words out too quickly. But Jack pits for fresh hards. He actually could have gone to mediums and gone to the end if he wanted, but he's gone to the hards. So he comes out P7 just ahead of Ludwig. So Melvin, Albert's gone past Melvin, so I'm sorry if I wasn't paying attention, but Albert's gone past Melvin for the P2. So this is a very good pace here from the Mercedes driver of Albert. And he's only 3.5 seconds behind his teammate on the same lap of tyres and on the same compound. So this could be shaping up to be quite an interesting race to the end. If Albert has the pace on the next set of tyre he goes on, he actually might be pulling out these tyres to go on the softs at the end. So this could be, don't put him out of the question, this could actually be a race win if he gets his everything right. Then this could be a race win here for Albert if he puts everything together. Owen's only down in P6, he's actually in the pits and he's chucked on some hard compound tyres. So that ties to the end of the race. So these front two might be stretching out these mediums to go on the softs. So you need around 13 laps to go on the softs. So expect around lap 23, 24, 25 for them to pit if they were going to go on the softs. Peyton now only half a second behind Terry, so he's gaining time. Oh, whoops. You can see Peyton doesn't really have the downforce through this middle sector. And it looks like he might actually be running manual ERS, automatic ERS, because he hasn't really moved off medium this whole stint. But he's going to have DRS this time, so he's winning the DRS now. Terry's using no ERS, you can see the red flashing lights at the back of the Renault. He's going to pull to the left hand side to try and make a move around the outside. Peyton gets the move done. Good move there from the racing point. And that is him up into P4. But remember, he does need to make another pit stop. Terry can go to the end on these mediums. On the hard, sorry. So he can go to the end. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think he will be able to go to the end of the race. But we'll stay on board with these guys because Terry will still be close enough to have DRS. These guys have got no ERS. They're both like at 20% each. Merrill gets a 3-second time penalty. So you got 14 laps there to go at the Mexican Grand Prix. Terry's got DRS now. Coming down the main straight. He's tucked it up into overtake. He's draining his ERS. Jack gets a 3-second time penalty. He's going to try and brake later, going the outside into turn 1. Bit of contact there between the two. Peyton gets inside line for turn 3 and gets the move, or keeps the position. But Terry will have DRS again, but not close enough to make a move. You can see Albert's got the pace advantage. He's caught in around 6/10 on his teammate just from making that position on Melvin. And he's pulled out nearly 3 seconds on Melvin since he's passed him. It's a good recovery drive here from Albert so far. But we'll stay with this battle for P4. The fuel light on for Peyton. But Terry will have DRS. Coming down the main straight now. Opens up the leader box at the back of the car. You can see he's gaining. He's up into overtake. He's got basically no ERS to burn left. He tries to go brake later, go on the outside into turn 1. Payton's got the inside line. Bit of contact there from the 2. But that is the move done there for Terry, sorry. And that's Terry back up into P4. Good move there from the Renault driver. So the top position 3 and 5, or position 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 5 still need to pit again. Owen's already pitted, so that could make him gain a few more positions in the later stages of the race. So we've got 13 laps here to go. I make that 12. So Jack's still holding on the back here of Owen. Only 8/10 of a second separate the two. So they're both on fresh hards, but Owen is on 1 lap fresher. So that will give him a little bit of an advantage. Melvin pits. So what's Melvin on? So Melvin is on the medium. So he's got 100% ERS. So he's got all the ERS in the world to burn. And he comes out P5 around 8 seconds ahead of 6 seconds, 5 seconds. So around 5 seconds ahead of Owen. So when Payton pits, expect him to fall behind Owen. But these guys aren't pitting yet, so expect them to come in a couple in this lap or next couple laps for softs. Oh yeah, so Ethan's actually blinked first, and he's coming to the pits. And if there's not a soft compound tyre change, I'll be actually quite surprised. Yeah, so it's the softs for the Mercedes team. So softs go onto the Mercedes of Ethan, and he's going to come out. And where's he going to come out? He's going to either come out here, Terry. So I'm thinking he's going to come out in P2. So, well, actually no, Terry's right there. Terry's actually going ahead, but the pace advantage on those softs will be really helping Ethan, and this could actually hinder his chances on trying to get an undercut on his teammate. So Albert's coming through the middle sector now. Pulls to the right hand side, brakes later, gets the move done. Easy job there for Ethan. So that's him back up into P2. But Albert's coming through the final sector now. So where will he blink? Well, he obviously will blink this lap in response to the undercut of his teammate. Yeah, so Albert blinks. So Albert comes into the pits. I expect for a soft compound tyre change. Yeah, so soft compound tyres coming out for the Mercedes crew. Good stop there from the Mercedes pit crew. So that is him coming out. 17.7 seconds the gap. See, yeah, there's Ethan come out now. He's flown past Albert. But does Albert have the pace to catch up to his teammate? So 3.3 now, so definitely pulled out some time as Ethan. He's pulled out around a whole second, to be honest, on his teammate. There's still within a second here, Jack on Owen. Payton's gotten past the Merrill. actually quite far back now, 10 seconds behind the rest of the field. But at the moment it's looking very nice for a Mercedes 1-2. And it will be a back-to-back Mercedes 1-2 if they get the 1-2. Ethan does a 17.2 for the fastest lap of the race, but expect another fastest lap from Albert. You can see the gap is already starting to fall down. 3.1 seconds now. So he's pulled in another 4/10 of a second. Albert gets a 3. Actually, I'm going to check the penalties. I don't think Ethan has any. Ethan only has 2 warnings, and Albert has 2 penalties, so... Oh, he's actually got 3 penalties. Wait. Oh no, so he is... So if Albert wants to Albert wants to get the position, then he needs to pull out 9 seconds on his teammate. So at the moment, it's going to be looking like a definite win here for Ethan. And this will surely be a fastest lap for him as well. Yeah, 16.3, so fastest lap for him as well. 2.3 seconds now separate the two teammates. Jack has actually gone past Owen for P4. Owen pulls out to the inside, or goes to the inside. Bit of contact there from the 2. Owen was trying to go down the inside, bit of contact from the 2 drivers, but that has let Owen get right back past. Payton is retired from the session. Merrill's in the pits. Wonder where that's happened, but we'll go on board with Matthew here, sorry, to see where that incident is taking place. And it is in Sector 1, so it's up here somewhere. Oh, so he's actually put it in the... He's actually might have just retired from the session as a whole, so... unfortunate there from the Racing Point driver. But that is him out of the race. And everyone in the race now will be scoring points. 2 seconds now the gap between the 2 teammates out in the lead. We've got 7 laps here to go of the Mexican Grand Prix. Next weekend is the US Grand Prix at Coda, so make sure to tune in then. I'm not sure if these guys would wrap up the constructors at the moment. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, so I think these guys have wrapped up the constructors as well. Yeah, so these guys have wrapped up the constructors as well. So, constructors champions here for Mercedes at the moment, and they will have a drivers champion at the end of the race. So 1.2 seconds now separate the 2 teammates, just out of DRS range. Albert. Let's go the Jack. So, just a second now on the dot. between the two teammates. Jack and Owen are still tossing for position. Actually, going for a move there is Jack, trying to go around the outside on Owen. This is letting Terry get closer to these battling two. He is on fresh softs, so expect a massive pace advantage from the Renault. Oh, he's cut a bit of the track there, Jack, and he actually gets a 3-second time penalty for it. But we'll watch these two teammates. Albert does have DRS now, but he's going to be way too far back to try and make a move. Way too far back, but we'll go back to the battling group in the midfield. Owen's going to be a sitting ducker here at the moment, but he might have the gap just a bit big enough to keep the position. Terry is getting a lot of slipstream, and he's going to pull to the left hand side, try going to the outside, backs out of the move. Terry gets a 3-second time penalty. So 5 laps to go here at Mexico. Make sure to tune into the stream at 11 o'clock New Zealand time for the F1 and F4, which will be streamed by Mark Bratby and I think it's Matthew Elliott and Joseph in F4. 5/10 now the gap between two teammates. Albert might be close enough to make a move here. He's got a lot more ERS than his teammate. He's closing on his teammate. He's going to pull to the right hand side. Down the inside he goes, Albert, into turn 1, and he gets the move done. Good job there from the Mercedes. The two Mercedes cars to not get into a massive battle. So good job there from Albert getting the lead of the race, but at the moment penalties won't let him win this race. Oh, Terry gets past Owen, down into turn 1, gets the move done. And that's him up in P4. So Terry now nearly got the gap to a second. Getting him 1.2 seconds, so he's already out of DRS range of Terry. So let's just check this penalty system. Surely 2 warnings for Ethan. Oh, so Albert's actually got 12 seconds. But let's just check how many Melvin has. Oh no, Melvin's already, I saw him before, he's already got 12, like 6 seconds or something, so he's still safe. Jack and Owen are still battling. Oh, Jack pulls out to the left-hand side to go on the outside into turn 1. Oh, and he gets the move done as well. I think there might have been a little bit of contact between the two as well. Owen gets a very good exit out of turn 3, and he's got the run. But Jack has DRS, which will help him with the straight line speed. And that is him. Oh, Owen's actually got the move back. So Ethan still staying within the second with his teammate. We're on the penultimate lap. Oh, the Mexican Grand Prix. Amarillo's actually really close here at the back of Matthew. But we're going to start the final lap here now, very shortly. So we're starting the final lap here now. Merrill gets a 3-second time penalty. Jack and Owen are still battling it out. Owen has the DRS down the main straight. Pulls to the left hand side. Tries to brake later. Down the around the outside he tries to go. Jack. Oh, Jack has been spun. Bit of contact there from the two. Jack has come off the worst, and he's resulted in a spin. But we'll go back to up to the front, and we'll go on board with Albert. What a very exciting season it's been for the young Spanish driver. But now he's got his time to shine. But Albert Ramirez Garcia comes across the line, or he lets a teammate through to win the Mexican Grand Prix. But he takes the championship here in Season 4. So Albert, Season 4 F2 champion. Congratulations to him, and also Mercedes are the Constructors Champions as well for Season 4. So a massive round of applause from the Mercedes in general. So Albert is your Season 4 Drivers Champion, Mercedes are your Season 4 Constructors Champions. Melvin comes home in P3 to get another podium in his this season. Owen finishes in P4, runner-up in the championship at the moment. Just didn't get close enough to Albert for the championship. Merrill and Matthew are going to round off the group, but we'll invite the top 3 into the party. So top step, Ethan wins the Mexican Grand Prix. So big congratulations there to Ethan. Gets another race win this weekend, or in the season. So we'll start with Albert. Albert, you finished P2, but most importantly, you've wrapped up the championship, so you are the Season 4 F2 champion, so congratulations to you.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I don't know what happened at the start. I think it happened like in 2017 when Sebastian touched with Hamilton and he had a puncture, and then both of them had to pause for repairing their cars, and they were fighting to to get through the field, and that's what happened to me. It's unfortunate that Owen had several incidents at the restart of the safety car, but yeah, congratulations to my teammate for winning, to Melbourne for third place, and obviously to my championship driver that he's been there despite the incident on last week, and he missed so many races, but it's been a tough season, and yeah, just to congratulations to everyone.
And forgot to mention, you guys are also the constructors champions as well.
Oh yeah, as
Um,
well.
yeah, and just a question: what happened? What happened at the start with all the contact?
I have no clue, to be honest. I was behind my teammate, like as we decided, and then I don't know, someone hit me from behind, and I was losing the car, and then just the first India just crashed into me and had wind damage. And I just want to mention that we did a double split stream because Brett allowed us. Uh, Brett allowed, so we decided to do that. Just because I saw that you were saying that on the steward reports, like no on the broadcast that was like illegal, but yeah, we decided to ask Brett just in case we had permission. So yeah.
Well, if Brett gave you permission, yeah, feel free to do it next time. But yeah, big congratulations to you on your drivers' championship and your constructors' championship as well, and a Mercedes one too as well. So a perfect weekend for you two.
Yeah.
So we go to Melbourne, a podium for you. You didn't really have a very eventful race towards the end of it. You were really out by yourself. You had a very good start, actually getting up into the podium places. So just go for your talk for your race, really.
Yeah, the race was, or the start was pretty crazy. Like, we all got bunched up on the start, and then like there was a lot of contact. Like I got squeezed between a few cars as well, so it was really hard to avoid contact. But I ended up like P3, so I was quite happy with that. And then I don't know, not a lot happened until the safety car, and then it was the safety car restart where I got up into P2, so that was pretty nice. And then, yeah, I don't know, not a very eventful race overall. Like a few moments where there was a lot of people in one spot, like the restart. But yeah, nice race overall. I'm very happy with the podium.
Yeah, so big points all for Toro Rosso. As you said, you were basically out there, lonely out there for basically the whole second half of the race. I think gap front was about 10 seconds and then like another 10 seconds gap behind, so pretty lonely race for you at the end, but congratulations to you on your P3. Hopefully we'll see you next weekend at USA. So we go to Ethan now, the race winner. Really only running the race due to penalties, keeping it very clean with the track limits, and also constructors champions, as I said before, and a 1-2 finish for you two as well. And I'm just going to mention the start as well. With all those incidents, you pointed out, I think it was a 3.5 second gap just out of turn 3 on lap 1. So that would have definitely helped you with that race win. So congratulations to you on you two on winning the constructors and on your race win. So anything else to add on that race? Yeah, so good result from you for you two. Second race in a row where you've got a 1-2. So on fine form, you two. So we'll have to wait and see if you guys can get another 1-2 next weekend at USA. So for now, that is going to be our coverage of the Mexican Grand Prix for the F2 category. We saw both championships ramped up this weekend. Albert wrapping up the drivers and Mercedes wrapping up the constructors championship here at Mexico. So make sure to tune in next weekend for the US Grand Prix, which will be broadcasted by me as usual. Make sure to tune into F1 and F4 at 11 AM New Zealand time, which will be covered by Mark Bratby for F1 and then Matthew Ilya and someone else for F4. But yeah, make sure to tune into those two races. But for now, I'm going to be signing out of the commentary box for Mexico. So see you next weekend.